Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we are very fortunate and we are very, very thankful to His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj for giving his personal associations. Maharaj is supposed to come today because tomorrow is Radhashtami. So very mercifully Maharaj said, oh, no, I'll come today only. And we requested Maharaj to have Srimad Bhagavatam class. So Maharaj just want a little introductions. So Maharaj's early life and initiation, birth and early contact with ISKCON, born in New Jersey, USA in 1947, came into contact with ISKCON at age 24 in Denver, Colorado. Spiritual journey begins practicing Krishna consciousness in 1973 in New York City, initiated by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada the same year, and served in New Vrindavan Farm community in the West Virginia. And Maharaj preaching in ISKCON is a minister of the preaching in ISKCON Prison Ministry. Sannyas and preaching work, accepted sannyas order in 1986 and preached in Cincinnati, Columbus and Boston, and also became involved with the prison ministry in earlier 1980s. Visited inmates, held programs, wrote letters, and sent Srila Prabhupada's books to prisoners, and authorized Holy Jail, it's the book, and documenting Srila Prabhupada transformations of inmates, and also leadership in ISKCON, resident sannyasi in Chicago, ISKCON from 1995 to 2013, now based in Karlovac, Croatia. Spiritual guidance, offering spiritual guidance across Europe, USA, and India, initiating spiritual master within ISKCON, and dedicated to spiritual rehabilitations of prisoners and inspiring devotees worldwide. And Maharaj is well known for his talks and going deep in the Shastra, and also inspiring and dancing with the devotee in a very dramatical way. Hari Bol. So we have seen the Mayapur, and every devotee wants that association, that ecstasy in front of Panchtattva. Maharaj dance in a very dramatical way and then involve so many devotees there. So let's welcome Maharaj by loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj Ki, and welcome you all. Thank you for coming today morning. Hari Bol. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varahari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varadhari Yasodhanandana Raja Janandana Yasodhanandana Raja Janandana Jamuna Thira Vana Harium Yamuna Thira Vana Harium Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varadhari Hey, Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varadhari Giri Yasodhanandana Raja Janandana Yasodhanandana Raja Janandana Hey, hey, Yasodhanandana Raja Janandana Yamuna Thira Harim Yamuna Thira Harim Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Jai Hari Who's that Gopi? Jai Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varadhari Yasodhanandana Raja Janandana Yasodhanandana Raja Janandana Yasodhanandana Raja Janandana Jamuna Thira Harim Krishna Yamuna Thira Harim Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, hey. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey. Oh. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur. Oh! Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur. Hey. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jira Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, oh Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Hey, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Radha, Samudara Radha, Samudara Jira, hey. Jaya Radha, Samudara Radha, Samudara Jira, hey, hey. Jaya Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Nithai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Shri Radha Damodar ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Gaur Premanande. Ramabhadra Prabhu ki. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. Text number 4. Sir, translation? No? No translation. Okay. No, I mean, is there going to be translation while I speak? Okay. Aham tvam itya partha dir. Aham tvam itya partha dir. Agyanat purushasya hi. Swapnavabatyatha dhyadad. Yaya bandha viparyayo. Aham tvam itya partha dir. Agyanam purushasya hi. Swapnavabatyatha dhyanad. Yaya bandha uparyayo. Aham tvam itya partyadir. Agyanat purushasya hi. Swapnavabatyatha dhyanad. Yaya badam upiparyayo. Ladies. Anyone else? Aham, I. Tvam, you. Iti, thus. Aparta, misconceived. D, intelligence. Agyanat, from ignorance. Purushasya, of a person. He, certainly. Swapni, a dream. Eva, like. Abhati, appears. Atadgyanat, from the bodily conception of life. Yaya, by which bandha, bondage. Viparyayo, and misery. Let's see who's speaking here. Maitreya is speaking. Misidentification of oneself and others as I and you on the basis of the bodily conception of life is a product of ignorance. This bodily conception is the cause of repeated birth and death, and it makes us go on continuously in material existence. I'll read it again. Misidentification of oneself and others as I and you on the basis of the bodily conception of life is a product of ignorance. This bodily conception is the cause of repeated birth and death, and it makes us go on continuously in material existence. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The conception of I and you, aham tvam, as separate from each other, is due to our forgetfulness of our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Person, Krishna, is the central point, and all of us are his parts and parcels, just as the hands and legs and parts and parcels of the whole body. But when we actually come to this understanding of being eternally related to the Supreme Lord, this distinction, which is based on the bodily conception of life, cannot exist. The same example can be cited herein. The hand is the hand, the leg is the leg. But when both of them are engaged in the service of the whole body, there is no such distinction as hands and legs, for all of them belong to the whole body, and all the parts working together to constitute the whole body. Similar, when the living entities are in Krishna consciousness, there is no distinction as I and you, because everyone is engaged in the service of the Lord. Since the Lord is absolute, the services are also absolute. Even though the hand is working one way and the leg is working in another way, since the purpose of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are all one. This is not to be confused with the statement by the Mayavadi philosopher that everything is one. Real knowledge is that hand is hand, leg is leg, body is body, and yet all together they are one. As soon as the living entity thinks he is independent, his constitutional material existence begins. The conception of independent existence is therefore like a dream. One has to be in Krishna consciousness in his original position, then he can be free from material bondage. Om Agyan Timidandasya Gana Jana Salakaya Chaksu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhistam Staptitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadammayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So you're either Krishna conscious or you're in illusion. That's all. You can choose. If we're not Krishna conscious, we're in some dream state. Because the dream state is just some existence that is outside of Krishna consciousness. Nityasira Krishna Prema Sarukabonoi Sravanari Siri Chitte Koriye Hudoi. In the hearts of all living entities, pure love for Krishna exists, only because the soul by nature is never separated from the Lord and is always engaged in the service of the Lord. Separation, as is mentioned here, is like a dream. What is that dream? To dream, one is something other than who they actually are. At night, we go to sleep and we dream. And in those dreams, we may experience different identities and different situations that has nothing to do with our waking reality. Jai Sri Sri Radha Damodar, Gaurnitai, Jagannath Baladev, Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai. And in that false reality, we create this idea of separateness. And the more we work with the false reality, the farther we get away from our actual identity. And that's the material world. It's simply, Srila Prabhupada would say, material world is like a dream. And he would say, just like when you go to sleep at night, you dream, and then there's another existence, another reality that comes in this dream state. When you wake up, you realize it was just a dream, and you go back to what you were doing before you went to sleep. You continue on with your waking consciousness, your waking identity. But that waking identity in relationship to our real identity is another form of dream. So that's like two dreams, the daydream and the night dream. The daydream is a little bit longer, that's all. But still it's a dream. What is that dream? A combination of identities and situations that don't apply to who we actually are. It's like a dramatic performance. When you go to a drama, there's a person who's playing a particular part, and they may be very expert at playing that part, but then again, their identity is different from the part. And when the drama is over, they go back to who they are. So this material world is like a drama. Sometimes it's like a satire, and sometimes it's like a melodrama, and sometimes it's like a disaster. But in any case, it's all part of the same dream. So what is being said here about the concept of a tvam and aham. Aham means I, tvam means you. So actually, the soul is never separated from the Lord, although it thinks it is. We're never separated from each other, but because of the material identity, we create separatenesses based on you're a particular nationality and I'm a different one, the gender separation, and intellectual separation, financial. We have so many divisions within the world that everything is based on categories of separation. And we find some kind of identity when we find someone who is in the same dream state we are. In other words, if we can find someone who's dreaming like we are, then we find some kind of happiness in this dream state. That's material life. But actually, as Prabhupada gives a very interesting explanation of a unity and then separation. He says separation is simply a material conception, and unity is actually the foundation by which consciousness exists. So, real consciousness or complete consciousness is Krishna consciousness. So, what is material consciousness? Is there such thing as material consciousness? In one sense, yes. In another sense, no. The sense of no is that consciousness is always spiritual. It's pure. But when you put something on top of that conscious, then that's called material consciousness. All right. Is that better? Hare Krishna. It was too much of an echo, huh? Okay. Okay, that's part of the dream too. I was dreaming I was giving a class. Now I have to begin all over. So, yeah. So this imprint upon the pure consciousness is called material consciousness. An example would be given. Someone asks you, well, what is material consciousness? You say it's more or less imprints or reflections upon one's real consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness or pure spiritual consciousness. And the analogy is, if you see the sky is clear, the sky is vast. It's, you might say, in one sense, the sky is unlimited. But when you see clouds, they're in the sky. You see birds, they're in the sky. Airplanes, they're in the sky. But do any of these items or these situations touch the sky? No. They never touch the sky because the sky is always remains separate. Although when you look from your perspective, you see these things are in the sky. But they're not in the sky, they're separate from the sky. So, in the same way, material consciousness is separate from our real consciousness, and therefore, it is not, in one sense, it's just imprints over the real consciousness. Real consciousness is Krishna consciousness. And we can never be not Krishna conscious. We're always Krishna consciousness. But we're not always aware of our existence as being pure spiritual consciousness. Therefore, the process is to remove this illusion which is covering the real consciousness, and that is the process of bhakti. To purify the consciousness and come back to the oneness. Now, Prabhupada wants to make a distinction. There are people who speak about oneness in the sense of absoluteness. In one sense, oneness is absolute, but when you apply it in all aspects of its definition, there is oneness and then there is duality also. And that is Lord Chaitanya's teaching that everything is one with and different from at the same time. Achintya, beta, beta, tattva. Achintya means inconceivable. How can something be one and different at the same time? But it is, because the essence is one and the difference is the illusion. Or you might say the difference is the energy and the oneness is the absolute principle, or we might say Krishna. You can apply that also in the material sense. You might say we're all human, so therefore in one sense we're all one because we're all identified as part of the human race. But then again, there's distinctions within that oneness. There are different cultures, there's different personalities. Each person is also different from another person. Well, that is the material conception. But it has some reality because material duality is simply the existence of a consciousness which is separated from the real consciousness. Real consciousness is that Jiver Surupai Krishna Nityadas, or as as Bhagavad Gita says, when you thus learn the truth, you know that all living beings are my parts and parcels, they're in me and they're mine. There's no one is ever separated from Krishna. Even the demons are not separated. But they act in such a way that they create a separateness based on their activities. But the separateness is simply of creation, it's never there. So Prabhupada would say, you're never separated from Krishna, even while you're in the material world. But you think you are, and that thinking is the dreamlight state. So come back to who you actually are, and that is the process of bhakti. Coming back to our real consciousness or Krishna consciousness. And that is the process of removing the illusion or waking up for the dream. Jeev jago, Gaur chanda bhole, Potani Chayomaya Pischa Chira Kole Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. That's the alarm clock. To wake up. But we got the snooze button, so we push the button and we go back to the illusion. Yeah, I know I'm pure spirit soul, but I got, I got a lot of things to do in this material world too. So I got to get back to my illusion. Although it's an illusion, I know it's an illusion, but still I like it. Because it gives me some satisfaction. At least I think it does. Now this is the material world. So this verse is just the end of purport. It's just saying that separateness is just a creation of the dreamlike state of duality, which is the characteristic of the material energy. Everything is separate from each other. And you see how that is being, what we say, exasperated, or the word is uh, proliferated, that as people live in the material world, they're creating more and more divisions. Prabhupada says in the material world there's no unity because there's no center. When there's no center, there's no unity. And therefore, in order to find some kind of satisfaction, they create more and more diversity or divisions in order to create unity within their newly found diversity. Make sense? Yeah. So you get more and more diversity, but there's never any unity like that. So you just like you see, there's this club, that party, this party, just like I know one country, it's actually Italy. They have over 50 political parties in one country. Some countries have two or three. And here they got four or five, I don't know how many. There's some kind of 50, 20, 80. I mean, it's unlimited. Nobody can unite with anybody. Because as soon as they start to unite with each other, they find that their ideas are always different on how to unite. And so there's always another reason to divide. So division keeps going, and pretty soon you can't even find any unity at all and anywhere. Even in the family. You find that in the family also. People in the family cannot cooperate as a unit, and they all break up and do their own different things, and still they call it a family. I remember, this is a little experience I had. I was preaching in one city in America, and one of the devotees, who was a congregational member, he invited me to come to his home. So I came, and the man he wasn't very wealthy, it was quite simple. So I walked in, and I walked into the main room, and his father is sitting there watching television. And he's watching some sports, I don't know, some football game or something. And so then I walked into the next room, and his brother is watching another television. And I see they're both watching television in two different rooms. So I thought, well, maybe, maybe they're watching two different things, but they were watching the same thing. So I just had to ask, well, what is this? And then the answer was, if one of them wants to change the channel, then there's no fight. Maybe I want to change the channel and you don't, so we have to have two different televisions. So, two different rooms, same program. So there's always more reasons to create division, like that. That's goes on as some kind of expression of individuality, right? I have to express my individuality. I have to be, even if you're right, I can't agree with you because I don't want to be united with you. I have to be different. So I may say something different because I want to be different, not only because I don't want to agree with you. Even though I might not be right, still I have to be different. This is the material world. It just goes on. But devotees, devotees know everything is one. We all chant the Hare Krishna mantra, right? So we know we don't need another mantra in terms of, that mantra that is the Maha Mantra. It's there, it's for everybody. There's some unity when we're all chanting Hare Krishna. You may be in one place in the world and I may be in another place. Still, we're connected, we're united because we're all engaged in the same spiritual process. Prabhupada made that point when devotees would write to Prabhupada and they would say, well, Srila Prabhupada, uh, I'm feeling separation from you. Sometimes devotees had association with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada had to travel, and they would lose that personal association, so they would feel some separation from Prabhupada. And then they would write to Prabhupada, I'm feeling separation. I would like to get back into your... Prabhupada said, we are never separated. You are chanting Hare Krishna, I am chanting Hare Krishna. The business is the same. Therefore, we are all connected to Krishna through the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. And Krishna is the basis of unity in all situations because he's the foundation by which unity comes. So as much as we are connected with Krishna, that's as much as we are connected with others who are also connected with Krishna. And that connection is very pleasing to the Lord. When Krishna sees all of the devotees are working in a very cooperative way to serve, that is that is very pleasing to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when more than one work together in a cooperative way to serve the Lord, that becomes something really, really, beautiful in the eyes of everyone, and especially the Lord. He blesses that kind of... It's nice if we're in our own Krishna conscious practice, we have that relationship. But when we work together in a cooperative way as a unit, then that is a higher level of spiritual attainment. Learning how to correlate, work together, and assist each other in working for the pleasure of the Lord. And we do that in the temples to some degree. And sometimes we have our own ideas on how we should become Krishna conscious. But that's not so much of a division. But when everything is working in a coordinated way, in other words, when everyone is trying to serve everyone in the process of serving Krishna, then that is very pleasing to the Lord. As Krishna says, He who says he's my devotee is not my devotee. The one who says he's devotee of my devotee actually is my devotee. That's mentioned in the Adi Purana. So Krishna gives the formula. Don't try to approach me. If you want to approach me, there is a way to approach me, and that is to serve those who are serving me and become part of that same service. So that is the essence of unity in spirituality also. Because even Prabhupada would say, he would write that even in the process of Krishna consciousness, there seems to be some, what we say, duality or disagreement. But then he goes on to explain, this is also in the fourth canto, but it's not in this particular chapter or section here. It's in chapter number 30, where he explains that because sometimes devotees lean towards material tendencies in the process of their execution of devotional service, there seems to be some division. But actually, there is never a division as long as Krishna remains the center. And that's what makes everything wonderful. If we all work to try to please Krishna by following the standard process given to us by the acharyas, the spiritual master and their representatives, that is very pleasing to the Lord. And when the Lord actually blesses that, there's an example in the Shastras where the Prachetas, there were 9 brothers. They worked so closely together in their devotional practice. The Lord was so pleased with them. He said, I can see you because of your mutual friendship together, I want to give you some benediction. Just ask for me from some benediction. Not only was the Lord pleased, he wanted to award those devotees by offering them anything they wanted, just simply by asking. So this is very pleasing when devotees work together. But the tendency sometimes is to be somewhat individual, but individual in a mood of serving others. That individuality is also allowed if it's there in the mood of service. And just like in the spiritual world, there's competition in the spiritual world. Who can serve Krishna the best? But in the material world, people compete, but their competition is based on on defeating another person or making themselves look better in the eyes of others than others. But in Krishna, and so in the spiritual world, there's also competition. Who can serve Krishna the best? So one gopi says, oh wow, look at that gopi, she's serving so nicely. And the other gopi said, yeah, I want to serve, not only do I want to serve like she does, but I want to be better than her. So there's some competition. But there's no, what they call it, mean spirit. There's no enmity. There's no envy. It is just because everything is centered around pleasing Krishna. Therefore, who benefits? Krishna. So competition in Krishna consciousness is good if its focus is on serving Krishna. Not like, I remember I grew up in New Vrindavan in West Virginia, and sometimes the ladies would fight who could cook. I want to cook. No, you can't cook. I'm going to cook. It's my turn to cook. No, you had your turn yesterday. Now it's my turn. All right. So that one person would cook, but then when she would look for the vegetables, she couldn't find them because the other person would steal the vegetables. So she couldn't cook. So that's not the idea. That doesn't please Krishna, obviously. So the idea is to assist each other in in serving the Lord, but try to serve the Lord even more and more in a way that, oh, that person's serving so nicely. Just like when we do book distribution. We have sometimes a competition who can come out the top book distributor. But it is all spiritual because ultimately who benefits? The devotees benefit, the Lord benefits, everyone's benefit. And whoever wins, everybody says, "Yay, Jai, you were good. You did it. You came in first." So we give honors like that. We find happiness in supporting those who actually are come in the best, and if there's some type of competition. So that's Krishna consciousness also. But not like there's envy. Oh, if you win, I'm going away. I'm not coming back anymore. Actually, you didn't win. I win. You cheated. That's not Krishna consciousness. So this unity is being expressed here in the absolute sense that ultimately that unity is the reality of existence. There's nothing ever separate. And Prabhupada one time he said, so he was giving a lecture. He was saying, everything is Krishna. You're Krishna. I'm Krishna. Everything is Krishna. There's nothing outside of Krishna. And the devotees were getting really nervous. They're thinking, oh no. Before he's saying anybody who says he's God, he's dog. And now he's saying we're all God. But then Prabhupada could see, because he was emphasizing the oneness. But then he explained, oh, yes, not that we are Krishna, we are, but because we are eternally connected to Krishna, and in the absolute sense of that, then we are also of the same spiritual substance. Therefore, there is that oneness there. But then there is variety in the oneness, and that is the difference, that therefore oneness and difference together, not just oneness and not just difference. So yeah, the Prabhupada would say certain things that would bewilder the devotees, and then like, what did he say one time? He was talking about the spiritual master. This was back in the early days when they began the Krishna conscious movement. Prabhupada had been talking that anyone who says they're God, they're dog. G-O-D, D-O-G. And so one lecture he gave, and he said, you should see the spiritual master as God. And he ended his lecture like that. He walked off. The last thing he said, and the spiritual master should be seen as God. And everybody got nervous. Now he's saying he's God. Before he's saying everyone who says he's God is dog. Now he's saying he's God. But then Prabhupada found out later where the devotees were confused. He says, the spiritual master is not God, nor does he think he's God, but he should be seen that way in order for you to worship him in a way that is appropriate for the proper worship as the representative of God, as the representative also gets the same treatment as the object. So unless we clarify things, a lot of times people get confused. Okay, I was requested to speak a little bit about yesterday's event. Yesterday was Lalita Saki. Lalita Saki it was her appearance day. She's 2 days before Srimati Radharani, but she's, I think, at least a year older too. Anyway, there's a nice pastime that goes on. There was this was in Sri Vrindavan. Some boys were playing in Vrindavan. And they saw this jackal. You know what a jackal is? If you go to Mayapur, they sing to you every night. You get jackal kirtan. Can anybody imitate a jackal? Any? Huh? Anybody want to try making a jackal? No, not like that. Is that? That's not so good. Anybody? He's good. Ah. Yeah, that was a long. Yeah, don't worry about that birth. Forget it. My version was one time Radhanath Swami asked me to imitate a jackal, and I tried, and he said, "Boy, that jackal sounded pretty sick." So I stopped trying. Yeah. Anyway, there was a jackal, and these boys were chasing this jackal around Vrindavan. The jackal was getting frightened, so it was trying to run from the boys. So it found a hole, and it ran into the hole. And he was thinking it was safe, but the boys were mischievous. So they took some sticks and some branches. They put it by the hole and they lit a fire. And so the smoke was going into the hole, and the jackal was crying, really, like we heard before. I'm not going to try it again. The jackal was crying, 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 crying. Radharani, Srimati Radharani, and Lalita Saki were walking together. And then Radharani, she hears this very pitiable sound. The jackal's not just making jackal sound, it's jackal cries, distress. So Radharani says to Lalita, "My God, Lalita, you hear that? This is Vrindavan. There is such distress. How could there be such distress by anyone in Vrindavan? Go find out." So Lalita goes, and then she sees, and then there's this smoke coming out, and she sees that there's some cries coming out of the hole, because the boys ran away after they set the fire. And then she put out the fire, and then she saw that it was a baby jackal. It wasn't a full-grown jackal. So she picked up the jackal, and she brought it to Radharani. And sometimes you see a picture, Radharani is holding this jackal, and she's giving the jackal her transcendental affection. So sometimes devotees use that particular pastime to say, we are like that. We're in the material world. We're burning in the fire of material existence. We're trying to find some escape, but there is no escape. Therefore, we're suffering. But if we call out to Radharani, Jai Shri Radhe, 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 Jai Shri Radhe. And oh, someone is calling me. Oh, a devotee. Oh, I must give that devotee my blessings, my care. So Radharani is very kind. Tomorrow we'll be honoring her appearance day. And Prabhupada would say that Krishna is not so easy, but Radharani is more merciful. Because on Janmashtami we fast till midnight, and Radhastami half day. So Prabhupada would say, mother is more kinder than father for the children. we're all children. Somehow or other trying to find our way back to our parents. So yeah, so this is a beautiful pastime. So if we call out to Radharani for her mercy, she's very kind. She gives mercy because she she has a very soft heart, and when she sees someone suffering but wanting Krishna, wanting to get out of the suffering, she does whatever she can to help that person by giving her mercy. Lalita, there are many pastimes with Radharani and Lalita where when Krishna made a promise to Radharani, I'll meet you tonight at a certain place. So Radharani is waiting for Krishna to come. And she's waiting, she's waiting, she's waiting, she's waiting. Krishna's not coming. And it's getting late. She's waiting and she's waiting. Krishna's not coming. Lalita comes and sees that Radharani is in distress. And then Radharani says, where is that boy? Lampata. He's at Dabanshi. Go find him. He was supposed to be here, and now he is not coming. So Lalita goes, and she goes immediately to the other camp, because there's the right-wing gopis and the left-wing gopis. The left-wing gopis are Radharani's group, right-wing gopis are Chandramauli's group. And so she goes and she sees, oh, there's Krishna. He's at Sakigam, the place of Chandramauli. So she goes up to Krishna, you rascal. Now you're in trouble. And then she says, I'm going to go Radharani. And she's running back. Now Krishna realizes he's in trouble. He can't hide, he's caught. So he's running after. And Lalita goes and tells Radharani he's with another gopi. And then Radharani becomes really, really unhappy and angry also. Then Krishna arrives and he's got so many excuses why he's late. She doesn't want to hear anything. He's making some this excuse, that excuse, this again. She's not talking to him. She's looking the other way. And then finally she says to Lalita, I don't want anything to do with him anymore. And then she goes home, and because Krishna's blue, she doesn't want to be reminded of Krishna. So anything that's blue, she gets rid of. She has a blue sari, she throws it. Her bird cage for her pet bird is blue, she throws that. She says the Jamuna, oh, I don't want to see the Jamuna because it's blue. It reminds me of Krishna. So Krishna's in trouble. What to do? So Krishna goes to Vrinda. Vrinda, she works under Purnamasi. They kind of work together to make all the arrangements for Radha and Krishna to meet at different places. So he goes to Vrinda and says, Vrinda, I'm in trouble. I have to get back Radharani's favor again. What can I do? She said, I'll make a plan. Don't worry. So Vrinda, she said, Radharani, she's also very unhappy right now. So you disguise yourself as a fortune teller, astrologer. So so Krishna dresses up as a female fortune teller. He's got all the mendi on his hands, and he's got the gopi dots and all on. So Radharani's there with her friends, and she's sitting there and she's sulking. She's not happy. And then this fortune teller comes, this girl, and all the girls say, who's that? We never saw that gopi before. And then she comes in. It's not she, it's he, it's Krishna. He said, I'm a fortune teller, and I heard Radharani who needs her fortune told, so I'm coming to give her some good news. Oh, okay. So go. Radharani agrees. So Krishna gets down. He starts grabbing her feet. He's looking at her feet, and he gets looking at her hands. And he says, "Yes, I understand why you are not happy. So all you have to do is one thing, and you'll be happy. Just bring Krishna back." And Radharani gets angry. She says, "Who's this girl? She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's bogus fortune teller. Get her out of here." So Krishna runs away. He goes back to Vrinda and said it didn't work. So she said, "Don't worry, we have plan number two." So they get into the second plan. This time, you dress up as a sannyasi. So he dresses up like he puts on, not a, he puts on like Shiva, he wears, what is it? What is that skin? Hmm? Deer skin. Deer skin sannyasi. And he's got his little begging bowl. He's got his danda. And he goes where Radharani and the gopis are. And when they see, oh, there's sannyasis coming. Oh, Radharani says, oh, a sannyasi. Oh, that's nice. We're getting some blessings. So then Krishna's walking forward. And then they all think, wow, we have to ask the sannyasi, how can Radharani get over her unhappiness? So they said, my dear sannyasi, you're a sannyasi, you know everything. Sometimes we think like that, but that's another form of delusion. Just ask the sannyasi, he'll give you all of his advice. First he says, all right, you want some advice? Dakshin. Okay, Dakshin, I'll give you advice. Advice is you should give more Dakshin. Bogus sannyasi. Anyway, so then they ask the sannyasi, how can Radharani get better? And the sannyasi says, well, I think she has to forgive Krishna. And then Radharani thinks, well, we can't say no to the sannyasi, that's an offense. So then she forgives Krishna, and then Krishna's happy, Radharani's happy, Vrinda's successful. Success. So Lalita, she's always there to protect Radharani when Krishna does something wrong, or to chastise Krishna when he's discussing things with Radharani and Radharani's not agreeing with him. She comes in and takes the part of Radharani and defeats Krishna because she's very intelligent. She's very intelligent. So Radharani's girlfriends they assist her in her service. But the Manjaris are more intimately connected to Radharani than the girlfriends are. Just like you see, um, the servants of the spiritual master are more intimately connected with the spiritual master than his god brothers and god sisters usually, because they're always around the spiritual master and they're doing personal service. So same way, those gopis who are manjaris, they have very intimate and very uh, confidential servants to Radharani. But the girlfriends, they're more like friends. So they work together to assist each other in serving Krishna like that. Anyway, this is a little bit about Lalita. I don't know so much, but she is one of the prominent. That same Lalita appeared as Ramananda Roy in Krishna's. No, I'm sorry, Sarup Damodar Goswami. It was Sarup Damodar Goswami was the most intimate associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. he knew more about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu than anybody. And Lord Chaitanya would speak to him confidentially, and he wouldn't speak to any others such as much confidence as he would with Sarup Damodar. Sarup Damodar was the closest of all of Lord Chaitanya's associates. Him and Ramananda Roy, but especially Sarup Damodar Goswami. So that was Lalita appearing again in Gaur Leela as Ramananda Sarup Damodar Goswami. Okay, so we can stop now. Any questions, comments?
Generally, Maharaj, this is what I am experiencing, Maharaj, that the more number of years we are spending in Krishna consciousness, the advancement that we eventually felt in the beginning of our Krishna consciousness was really, it was giving a sense of belonging to Srila Prabhupada, to Krishna. But gradually, Maharaj, as we are taking more services and all, and we are now preaching also, but our personal connection with Krishna is getting little diminished, and we are not able to reconnect that the same spirit what we used to have earlier, the feelings that now I have to chant sincerely. So everything is getting delayed. That I will chant after this, I will chant after this. So Maharaj, what exactly is the reason and how to overcome this hindrance in Krishna consciousness?
Well, the answer is easy, but then your question is, well, I'm so engaged in service, but service is an expression of our devotion to Krishna, and the devotion really springs from Shravanam Kirtanam. So, Shravanam Kirtanam Smarnam. So, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Satam Prasangam Mama Virya Sambido Bhavanti Ritkarna Rasayana Kata. That devotees, what is that verse? Bodhyantas Parasparam Katiyantas Chamam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. The thoughts of my devotees dwell in me, their lives are surrendered to me. They derive great satisfaction and happiness uh, conversing about me, my pastimes, my activities, my, my names. So hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord will again rejuvenate that attraction to Krishna more and more. That's the formula. So we might say, well, I have so much service, but you have to make sufficient time to hear and chant. And that's also service. And it's needed because if we go on and we neglect our hearing and chanting in the name of doing service, after some time the service will become difficult. And then we will start to feel less enthusiastic, we'll lose the taste. So the taste comes hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, especially kirtan. Kirtan brings smarnam really fast. But then again, discussing the pastimes of the Lord, coming to the Srimad Bhagavatam, also reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We should read Bhagavatam every day. Nasta prayeshu abhideshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. So we have to take sufficient time to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Prabhupada gave us so many books, and then there is so many other books given by the other acharyas and many other devotees, which are all centered around the glories of Krishna's activities, his pastimes. So these things open up our relationship with Krishna because we learn about Krishna, how he interacts with his devotees, how he interacts with us, how he interacts with the material world, what pleases Krishna, what doesn't please Krishna. His pastimes in Vrindavan, which are the essence of his leelas. It says when he comes to this material world, his pastimes that he performs in Vrindavan are even sweeter than the pastimes he performs in the spiritual world. That's a statement by Sanatana Goswami. He says these leelas that the Lord performs in the material world have an extra sweetness about them that he gives just to inspire others to take up this process of hearing and chanting. That's our practice. So I don't want to get into managing anything because but we do have to have some balance in our. There should be sufficient time for hearing and chanting, along with doing our daily services. Even if we like our services, it's nice, but still, we want to. It's all about Krishna, developing our love for Krishna. And the more you know about Krishna, the stronger your attraction is for Krishna. And when the attraction becomes strong, then it becomes attachment. And that attachment awakens your devotion more and more.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for wonderful class today. So, Maharaj, regarding unity in diversities. So, I think whenever I met you, you explore on this topic. Even in GBC college, you have same topic, unity in diversities. And last time you came, so we also discussed. So, uh, as Maharaj you said that material world is a difficult, and the spiritual world is very easy. But Prabhupada mentioned the purport, even in a Krishna consciousness, we can see there's a lot of ideas and difference of opinions. It should be taken as spiritual. And but sometimes, the opinions and differences go so high that it doesn't look like it's spiritual because of its envy. So my question is that, of course, we have envy and false ego. So what should we keep in our mind? That's we should be uniting. Unity and diversity principle should be maintained, and at the same time, our envy should not burns or go more and more.
I think the idea is to appreciate the other devotees in whatever service they're doing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was at the Mahapakash Leela, and there was 21 hours where he was accepting the role of the Supreme Lord, and his devotees were worshiping. Part of that worship was an Abhishek. And in that Abhishek, the devotees had lined up from all the way from the Ganga, all the way to Srivas Thakur's house, and they were passing big clay pots full of water from one devotee to another. And then, of course, in the front was Nityananda and Advaita, where they were pouring the water on Lord Chaitanya, giving him the Abhishek. And at one point, Lord Chaitanya noticed that there was one simple lady. She was in the Ganges, standing in the water and filling the pots and giving it to the other devotees. And Lord Chaitanya noticed that she just stayed way in the back, and she just was assisting the other devotees. So Lord Chaitanya called Srivas. He said, Srivas, who is that? And Srivas said, well, that's one of my maidservants. Her name is Duki. Of course, Duki means miserable, unhappy. Lord Chaitanya said, oh, Duki. Now we can call her Suki. So he initiated her right there. And by that blessing, she became happy, just because of Lord Chaitanya appreciated her humble service. So it's not so much the service, but it's the mood that the service is done in. And when we appreciate whatever else the other devotees are doing, no matter how small, or apparently we might be thinking, well, I'm doing better service, therefore I'm more advanced. Not necessarily. Advancement comes with purification of the heart. If we develop this false ego that because I'm out there preaching, I'm more advanced than the one who's worshiping the deity, that's false ego. It's the, if the if the devotee out there is thinking, I'm such a great preacher, look how many things how many books I'm distributing, and the pujari's up there is thinking, I'm so fallen, I'm doing this service here, but I can't worship Krishna nicely, but I'm trying my best. Krishna is more pleased with that humble attitude than those who are thinking, well, yeah, I'm advanced, I'm making progress. So I think the answer is that we should appreciate the other devotees in whatever service they're doing. And when you start to appreciate the other devotees, you start to see their good qualities. And that helps us to get rid of that idea, that false ego or that envy. Appreciation of the other devotees, their service, acknowledging another devotee's service. Of course, we always think how to do better. The devotee never thinks, well, of course I'm being appreciated, that doesn't mean I'm successful. I'm thinking always, well, that's nice, but I want to do better. I want to do more. Anything else? Okay, it is getting 9:30 already. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari 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 Bol. Hmm?
Upstairs only. Upstairs.
Upstairs. Second floor.
Yeah, that's better.
Hare Krishna. हरे कृष्णा. So कैसा लगा आप लोग? So we really grateful to Maharaj, and Maharaj really very deep into Shastra. Maharaj teach Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav. So he knows how to explain the subject matter in a very deep way. And also he's teaching to GBC colleges and the leaders. And uh, really very deep realizations. And you see so many analogies and so many pastimes, analogy of, the sky, analogy of how Srila Prabhupada's some pastimes, and also like wonderful question answer sessions. So we are very, very grateful to Maharaj that he has given personal associations here, and which we really needs, here after the departure of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So we want Maharaj your more and more association. So today again we have a class at 7:30. Hari Bol in DYPH hall. Maharaj is very mercifully agreed. Although Maharaj's schedule is very hectic, so Maharaj said, I can take a short class. So 7:30 again we have in DYPH hall. So evening, so you can come and take more associations. Hari Bol. And we have prasadam for everybody. So those devotees who wanted to distribute Maharaj, this is, it will be extra. Maharaj could do. So this is printed by Maharaj BBT for Bhagwatam preachers. You have what in English? Okay. So this is a summary of Srimad Bhagavatam of the 12th cantos. 12 स्कंद का इसमें समरी दिया गया है. जो preacher, जो devotee distribute करना चाहते हैं, एक idea लेना चाहते हैं, so they can take this book from Maharaj. Okay, but then you have to distribute at least one Srimad Bhagavatam. Hari Bol. One set, yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam, one set. Anyway, you can take, and Maharaj will bless you. Hari Bol. So this is there in Hindi now, and English is to copy. Hare Krishna. Take one from Maharaj. Hari Bol. Hindi Maharaj. Hari Bol. Photo clear? Can you see photo? Photograph. Take photos. इधर आ जाओ फोटो के देख. So we thanks Maharaj by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra for a wonderful session morning. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bhadra Purnima festival ki. His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Thank you.